So there was evidently, you know, that one car that died out on the track. I think it was a BMW, and then they were under caution. But then they pulled out the black flag, so we all had to come in. I don't know if they're talking to folks, if we're going to go back out there, if they're just clearing the track or what. I'll let the camera run. I don't know if you saw the energy, how much we're using. It's pegged over 900. I know before it was, hey, look, a 90-mile range. That's not going to get me very far. We're down to 214. What did we start at? Like 260 something? I haven't been keeping track of the time that we've been out there or the number of laps, but I'm sure that will show up. So far, things are holding up good. Just got to get a feel for the car. It is heavy. It certainly feels heavy when it's out there versus, you know, something like that GT4, which is, you know, light and tossable. But as you can see, it's able to pretty much stay with the GT4. The Corvette was kind of coming up and going behind and coming up and going behind me, so I wasn't sure if he was wanting to pass, so I let him pass. And then, you know, you saw he had more power on the straights than the GT4, so he got around him. But yeah, I don't know, that car not that much different, you know, again, in terms of lap-to-lap performance. And of course, you got to hope for the Corvette that he doesn't overheat, because they have a history of that. But, you know, so far so good. Car seems to be doing well. The tires are predictable. I don't have any brake warnings. Don't smell any funny smells, except for the brake pads of either my car or the cars in front of me. I don't know what else to say other than so far so good. We'll hopefully keep going here shortly. Looks like there may be waving people ahead. I gotta quit shuffling my hands. No phone calls. Alright, so I'm going to drive the paddock area a little bit just to let the brakes kind of cool down, because we were getting at times some high brake temperature warnings, which, you know, a little disappointing, but I got to say these brakes are far and away better than what comes on the standard car. You know, I was able to hammer on these for several laps, but, you know, the weight of the car is what the weight of the car is, and it's simple physics. You want to stop that much weight continuously, you're going to need some big beefy brakes to have to do it. Other thing, obviously we're down now to 139 miles of range, so, you know, I blew through about half the battery. Certainly now the car turns down the power. I could feel that. I did not have as much power coming out of corners. You know, I wasn't able to as easily keep up on straights, started falling behind on some of the things, and I got sloppy a couple of times, I know it. But, you know, again, trying to get a feel for what the car was doing as it was changing. Had some interesting, you know, almost semi-drifts in track mode, which was kind of interesting. You know, again, I can see why they continue to tune and tweak track mode. It would be interesting to have it tuned and tweaked for each track. There's a couple of unsettling places on this track that I don't think you encounter in other ones, but that's okay. But, you know, all in all, is it a performance version? Absolutely. Are we able to go toe-to-toe with a GT4 and a Z06 and, you know, whatever else you throw out there? For a while, you know. Could you do it all day, hour after hour? You know, not without some mods or changes. But, you know, I think that would actually be easy enough to do. You know, I know that there are already some tuners that have some bigger rotors, bigger pads, calipers, you know, some tuning for the suspension, which I definitely feel the car needs, particularly when, you know, the brakes start to fade a little bit on you and the tires start to get a little slippery on you, and you don't have as fine of control as maybe you did initially. That's when kind of the you know, somewhat of the understeer of the suspension will show up. And again, that's okay. I mean, kind of to be expected. And again, for a first run out, hey, we didn't run into anything. Only one little brief off-track experience, and that's just because I felt it was better to go than to try to keep fighting it in the way that it was with the brakes. But, you know, fun stuff like that. Let's see if we have any other info. Energy, yeah, we consumed a lot of energy. I got a projected 33-mile range. So I can drive over to the supercharger without much incident. But there you go. I don't know what else to show you. Let's see, where are we at? 138 miles. That go away. All right, that should be good. I'm gonna turn off the camera. Hopefully you got a nice view.